First question right here, Michael on the left side on 2.
Hey, Steph. Michael Grange from Sportsnet in Toronto. Obviously, the passing of Muhammad Ali is front and center in most people's minds. And I wondered, from your point of view, knowing what you may know about him, could you ever imagine having to step away from your career the way he did for 2 or 3 or maybe more years under obviously the circumstances might be different, but just missing 3 years of your prime? What would that be like?
That would be a tough scenario for sure. Can't really put myself in his shoes at the time and understand the emotions he probably had and the struggle of what to do, what not to do. But yeah, that's when you love to have a passion for what you do in boxing, playing basketball, to for whatever reason not be able to kind of take advantage of your prime and the time and work that you put into it. That would be tough for sure. But obviously, he had to do what he needed to do, and that's special.
Emilio in the front.
Yeah, Steph. Emilio Perez, Top Deportes. As the competitor you are, how's your mindset going into Game 2? Do you feel you have to contribute more points in the offensive end and be more close to your average during the regular season?
No, I just need to play better to help my team. I don't know what that will mean statistically, but that's when we're at our complete best as a team is I usually am playing a pretty good game, so I don't think I needed to press to score a certain amount of points or whatnot, but being more decisive with the ball, obviously making open shots, and running our offense at a high level. That's I gotta play better for sure.
And after seeing some video, have you identified some adjustments that you have to make to play better against the Cavs defense?
A few things, but for the most part, is when I'm in decision, positions on the floor, just make the right one. There's a couple of times I was just indecisive, and that got me in trouble. There'll be times the way that they're guarding us that if I don't have the ball, I got to make decisive cuts. I have to set good screens and continue to get movement on the floor to make them make hopefully some mistakes defensively and then go from there.
John, back left over here.
Steph, John Krasinski with Associated Press. We just talked to Jerry West for a little bit. What has it meant for you in your career to have him around here, and what have you learned from him just spending time with him and having conversations?
He has such a unique perspective on individuals when they're out there on the floor and how they you get personnel to gel, build team chemistry, get the right pieces in, and just hearing him talk and the little things that he sees, especially from my game, how to use leverage with your hands and use your body to create space, little things like that he was so good at. That's invaluable, advice. But for the most part, it's kind of just him sensing the temperature of the team when he comes around and giving us a little something that might help us is important. And it's obviously the logo, so you take his advice strongly.
Over here in the front.
Steph right here. Tariq Majidi, Afghanistan basketball. I'm sure you're sick of talking X's and O's, so I'm going to ask you a few lighthearted questions. First, mostly fan-based and media hype to create some sort of animosity between you and LeBron. Can you talk about maybe your relationship off the court, maybe when you met him the first time, what you knew about him growing up? And then second question, take us inside the home of the MVP. What kind of a husband, dad are you? Do you do chores around the house? Do you have a honey-do list from Aisha?
I'll answer that question first, as a good husband would. Definitely, yeah. I got a lot of responsibility at the house. Doesn't matter what I do on the court. You can't get by at home, and obviously with 2 daughters, I got to be all hands on deck when I can. My wife does a lot of the duties, but I change a diaper or two too, so I can handle that part. I met LeBron back when I was in college and at Davidson. He came to one of our games when the Cavs were playing in Charlotte, and we were playing NC State at the Hornets Arena, or the Bobcats back then. And he came and watched the game, and then he came out to a tournament game when we played Wisconsin and watched us play as well. So I know he's a fan of the tournament and certain personalities in the college game and whatnot. He showed, crazy, support for me and my team. I met him, talked to him a couple of times back then. And, we have a solid relationship off the court. We don't talk much at all, other than when we, run into each other. But, there's no animosity or anything. And on the court, it's all about, competing and having fun.
All the way in the back, Rusty on the left.
Steph, Harrison has rebounded and defended well for you guys throughout the playoffs, but how much better are you guys when he's aggressive on the offensive end like he was in Game 1?
He just gives us another threat, and he's done that all year. Whether he shot well or not, he's been aggressive when he has his opportunities. And, we have a lot of weapons, so sometimes he might get a little lost in the you might not see a lot of field goal attempts or whatnot, but he's always a threat. Then you have to respect where he is on the floor, and when teams try to switch and get mismatches, he can exploit those situations a lot. He always finds a way to hit a timely jumper or bucket for us, especially in the playoffs, and he's always kind of ready for the moment. So he's such a talented guy and a smart basketball player that when the moment's right, he usually steps up. And in Game 1, he was very efficient with his game, and that's what we need from him.
Michael here on the left.
Steph, Mike Grange again here. Again, a little bit on Ali. I mean, he was at the crosshairs of so many social issues in his time, and you've had a little taste of that with the LGBT issue in North Carolina. And I'm just wondering, for an athlete, how maybe scary or nerve-wracking is it when people are seeking your opinion on things outside your job?
It depends on how you see the platform and why I'm sitting up here and why I get blessed with the ability to impact people, whether it's how I play or what I say. I don't take that lightly, and obviously I have certain beliefs and certain things that if you ask me, I'll tell you. But for the most part, as an athlete, you are somewhat of a role model, whether you like it or not, and being sensitive to certain situations and to the current events that are going on. You got to have a certain stand. It is very tricky at times because you're either on one side or the other, and you're going to offend somebody or not. But it kind of just comes with the territory, and whether you think that's important or not, that depends on the person. So Ali was the example of how you use your platform and speak what you believe, no matter what people are saying. And it gives, look at him as a sense of confidence in that regard for sure.
Far right.